Over the past 10 or 12 years, I have filmed a few hundred videos. I'm posting them here every week during the proper season. Sometimes on different years I found the same plant problem. Maybe the cause was the same, sometimes it was different. Today I have clips from 2 different years when I saw winter burn or desiccation on boxwoods. I combined them so you can see different examples of the problem that some evergreens get when winter weather turns against them. There are disease problems that can look like winter burn because the leaves and stems turn brown at the tips. If the branches have red or black sunken areas between the green leaves and brown leaves, a fungal disease is probably the problem. If there are rows of black dots on the leaves or stems, then the fungus is producing spores to infect more plants. In either case, those signs show you that you have fungus diseases on those boxwoods. In today's examples, there's no disease signs or symptoms, so we're left with the diagnosis of the leaves drying out over the winter. So let's get started and see what it looks like. This boxwood hedge has a lot of brown leaves on top. And under closer inspection, we find that there is no fungus disease. This is just a winter damage, winter burn, a lot of times it's called. Whether it's from ice or from snowpack on here or just cold weather, we don't know. The front side is fine, the back side is fine, they're both green, and so we just have to do a little bit of pruning here to the top. And sometimes when you're pruning late in the summer, early fall, you'll cause a new set of new growth that comes up, and that new growth will be tender, and that's what will get damaged. I know that this one was not pruned that way, so I don't know why the top edge is brown, but the first thing to do is just prune it off, because we do want the new growth to come up now in the spring. And so just a quick pruning off here. We got most of the dead off, and the green will come right back up through. And that's all there is to taking care of this. If there's a disease problem, then you need to work on taking care of that first. And you'll see on the disease problem, when you pull up little short branches, that there'll be black spore producing bodies on the backs of the dead leaves or on the stems, and there might be sunken cankers on the stems, and we have none of that on here. We have green velvet boxwoods that are showing evidence of winter burn or desiccation. Winter is a problem for evergreen plants, especially in the north where the ground gets frozen. The green leaves and needles on evergreen plants are still alive during the winter time, and they're supposed to be dormant. But if you get enough warmth from some sunlight and you get a little bit of wind on there, you will end up with some winter burn. The roots are not able to supply much water to the top in the winter time, because a lot of times there isn't very much water in the ground, and a lot of times the ground is of course frozen. So if that's the case, the top of the plant will die back a little bit. On evergreens, this can be, pine trees, spruces, boxwoods, rhododendrons, yews. There's a lot of different plants that can have this problem, and it'll tend to be on the sunny side. The back side of these are green right now. The top southwestern facing sides are the areas that are most affected, because that's where the sunlight warms them up in the afternoon, and then just shortly after that the nighttime comes and the temperatures drop rapidly. So you've got plant cells that did a little bit of growth and are breaking dormancy, and they're consuming the sugars that are in the cells and in between the cells in the fluids of the leaf, and those sugars are the antifreeze. As those sugars are consumed, then the plant doesn't have that antifreeze, and so you'll get the drying out on that southwest facing side, because that's where the sun is warming up those leaves. That's also in a lot of cases where the wind comes, and you can see this problem is on the same side of all of these boxwoods. So it's not just one boxwood being damaged by some sort of an insect or disease problem. It's an environmental problem affecting the entire group. Now, these green velvet boxwoods are a wonderful plant and a great plant for the landscape. Now, they were only planted 2 seasons ago, so the root system isn't as big as it could be for a mature plant, a plant that you see this size. And so in the future, they may not have this problem as much. A larger root system will be able to get moisture deeper in the soil, and maybe from a larger area, maybe underneath these pavers that when they're warm, they will thaw the soil a little bit. So it's possible that there could be some moisture available to these boxwoods at that time. So in the wintertime, you can protect these plants if you have this problem by putting up a burlap screen to prevent the wind from blowing and to shade the plants a little bit. You can make sure that the ground is watered well in the fall, and that in the wintertime, if there's a warm spell in January or February, that you go out and you add some more water so that these plants can get the water into the leaves. And this is Jeff with a Green Review. Thanks for watching.